It's the all-new Sandy Kastel and Friends Show with Sandy Kastel, singer, songwriter, author, and founder of WEMA. She'll be talking with local and international performers, artists, singers, authors, celebrities, and more. Plus, exciting features like WEMA, Women and Men in Music and Arts, insights into Las Vegas real estate, and staying fit and fabulous forever. Now, let's bring on the host. Here is Sandy Kastel.
What? Hi, and welcome to Sandy Kastel and Friends Variety Show. Hey, we are here, and we are rolling up our sleeves today, ladies, because we have a fabulous event coming up. Yes, and it is November 19th, and I have the Women's Federation for World Peace right here in the studio with me. I've got Kimio Anthony. Hi, Kimio. How are you?
Hi, Sandy.
Now, you're going to have to get right up on that microphone.
Oh, hi, Sandy.
Hi. And then we also have Mary Hida. Hi, how are you?
Well, hi, Sandy. So glad to be here.
Good to see you. And you know what? I understand, Mary, that you are going to be one of our key speakers November 19th for our WEMA United Nations Masquerade Ball, which is going to be held at the Old School Brewing Company over there at 8410 West Desert Inn.
Well, I guess that's what you could call me then, a speaker. I was thinking I was just introducing.
We've got you talking for hours that night. But we're going to help you out a little bit because this is an event that we are doing to raise funds for the Schools of Africa project, which is one of the World Women's Federation for World Peace project. And Kimio has the brochure right in her hand, and she's going to tell our audience a little bit about the Women's Federation for World Peace. You have 2 seconds.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
No pressure.
Okay. Women's Federation for World Peace was established 1992 by Dr. Hak Jae-han Moon and her late husband, Reverend Sam-myung Moon. And so our vision is empowering women with knowledge and skills and a supportive community to discover their unique value and bring lasting peace. And our mission statement is women working together to establish a culture of heart in the family, community, nation, and world in order to achieve genuine and sustainable peace under God. So this is
That's quite a mouthful. You know, and just to simplify it a little bit, a few weeks ago, Kimio invited me, or actually Angelica invited me. What's Angelica's last name?
Sally.
Sally. She invited me. She is the vice president of the World's Federation, Women's Federation for World Peace, and
She's the president.
The president.
USA.
Excuse me, president. Rewind. Okay. Anyway, so she invited me after a lovely breakfast meeting that we had together with all 4 of us there. We were sitting there talking, and after a few minutes, she said, "Oh my gosh, I wish we could have you speak at our event, but we might have an opening for you to sing a song, one of your songs that you've written."
That's right.
So I was invited to go back to Washington, D.C. and be a guest there and sing one of my songs, which was "Don't Tell Me I Can't."
That's right. That was the right song.
Yeah, and I learned so much about the women's organization. Let me just borrow. I'm going to borrow this for a minute from Mary. You know, it says Mrs. Angelica Selly. Okay, she says women working together to establish a culture of heart in the family, community, nation, and world in order to achieve genuine and sustainable peace under God. And I know you said that before, but you know, I wanted to say it again because it's very important. And they have all these schools of Africa. They have 8 of them, I think, right? We were there.
That's right.
And one of the things that they did before this big conference that we had back in Washington, D.C. is they had a day of service. And what a day of service consists of, this is where they got together with kids from the schools and also the women's, you know, some of the youth of the Federation, right? And some of the adults. And they all went to 3 different schools and they cleaned up. So afterwards, at the conference, they had some of the students come up and say, what did they learn from this experience?
That's right.
And it was so amazing because we had we had a young girl, and she said, well, one thing that I learned is that I'm going to stop littering because I know what it takes to clean it up.
That was profound.
And then there was that young boy that got up there, and he was talking about how much of an impact it had on his life. And then at the end, of course, because he was 12 years old, I think, and he was standing up on the stool and talking, and he was very animated. And he said, and by the way, buy my T-shirts. He makes T-shirts. Okay, so
That's right.
And so anyway, the youth is also getting very involved in this, and this has been going on since what was it,
1992.
1992.
That's right.
Established, yeah.
And Dr. Han Moon, she has been doing it by herself, leading it by herself for the last 3 years because her husband passed away. And we heard from senators, from representatives, we heard from just a lot of the members, the president, of course, Angelica herself, and a lot of the members, and about all the good work that has been done. First of all, I should let you guys talk more. Anyway, Mary.
Yes, well, you're doing so fine.
I know, sorry. I just get carried away. I was so excited. And as you see, I'm wearing my nice little flannel shirt here, and I rolled up my sleeves.
Well, it is getting colder
because
now.
we are getting ready to do this event. And Mary, you're going to be sharing some information about the Schools of Africa, I think, when we have our event on the 19th.
That's
Would you like
right.
to share a little bit about
Well, there
that
is
right
a
now?
video that they'll be able to see. It's
Yes.
a DVD, and it's a 10-minute video, but I think visuals are really good.
They are. And I think
And,
John's going to be putting some visuals behind us today.
Oh.
Aren't you putting some visuals behind
Some
us?
visuals?
Yes,
Oh,
yeah. We
yes.
have a green screen here. It's so wonderful to have a green screen here at the Vegas AllNet radio station.
So there are 8 schools, like you mentioned, and we often hear these names: Senegal, Mozambique, Liberia, Rwanda, Guinea-Bissau, Ethiopia, Kenya, Equatorial Guinea, but we don't even have any idea where they are.
That's right.
We say, "Oh yeah, he's from Africa," but Africa is a continent, and I think that through when we do have this event on November 19th, we will go away having understood more about each one of these countries and the schools that were established in those countries at different times, not all at the same time, but
Right. I spoke with I got to look for her name really quickly. The lady that's in charge of the African dancers. Okay, she is going to be. She's going to go on Wednesday. We're going to go over to the Old School Brewing Company. I was going to let you girls know because I just found out today.
Good to know.
We're going to go over there. And she's going to look at the space and figure out where they're going to do their dancing and stuff. But we are going to have authentic African dancing going on with the drumming and with the dancers, with festive costumes.
create good spirit. Yeah.
Yes, and so we're going to have that. We're going to have the video, which is going to show some of the schools over in Africa, and also we're going to have a jazz band. We're going to have a 4-piece jazz band, which my dad, Dick Kastel, is going to be heading up. And we are also going to have some wonderful, fabulous food by someone that we know, Chef Michael. And then we are also going to have a costume masquerade ball, which is going to be a United Nation theme. Okay, where people dress up in the traditional costumes from different parts of the world. And we're going to have a contest.
Yeah.
And prizes. And silent auctions and raffle prizes.
That's right. We have fun.
I know. And Chemio. So how long have you been involved with the organization?
Yeah, since 1995. Kind of more deeply involved through the Bridge of Peace ceremony, our signature project.
And tell our audience a little bit about the Bridge of Peace.
The Bridge of Peace ceremony actually started in 1994. The reason why, because of the Women's Federation we want to heal the heart of the people in the past, they have war-torn countries, and the different countries fought each other, especially we studied between the Japan and Korea. These two nations have really animosities because Japan occupied 40 years in Korea, lost languages and took over the religion and changed everything. So so that Korean people had a deep resentment, and so Japanese ladies went to Korea and really, that repented, past, because each individual is actually representing just not in yourself, but is representing. If you're American, you represent America, right?
Right.
So if the Japanese, representing Japan.
Right.
So Japanese lady, 160,000 people, many different times, went Korea to say, sorry to, what have done, the country has done. So we can, we are able to start, have a new start, through the reconciliation, healing take place.
Right.
Yeah, so this is, I think women has a unique nature, to overcome and embracing, and forgive. So this is one of the signature project that we started 1994.
Now, one of the unique things also about the Women's Federation for World Peace is that it is recognized by the United Nations. It is called what is it called?
It's a United Nations.
501.
Well,
It's a 501, but it's a different.
It's a concert.
NGO.
NGO.
Thank you, John. John, right behind the camera here, doing it with style.
Yeah, non-profit organization, but also we are the consultative status one with the Economic Social Council of the United Nations.
Yes, so you're actually the organization is actually included, working with
together
the
with the United Nations.
Right, to make a difference in the world.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the bridge is people coming together from either different countries, different cultures, or just differences that
also
they have.
In America we did call interracial sisterhood project.
Interracial differences.
Black and white,
That's right. There's all kinds of differences. And they do this once a year? Or is it done at different times?
occasions? Yeah, different occasions.
Because you've done it, you did it it's been done in different locations. Okay, so they had this ceremony during the time that I was back there at the conference, and it was so impressive that there were very few dry eyes in the audience because it just had a big impact. You had people from countries that had fought each other in the past, and you had different cultures that were coming together, and you had Indian, American
Catholic.
Indian, and then you had
Catholic.
and the Catholics coming together with what?
There was some history there.
There was like history.
Yeah.
So the thing of it is we can come together, and having a women's organization, there is something about being a woman.
Yeah.
Admit it.
Absolutely.
Right. We are different. Sorry to tell you this, John, but I know. I've heard you're a cross-dresser, but what can I say? You'll never be a woman. So, but women, look, they're talking about having a female president in the, here. And the thing of it is men and women are different. There are some differences. There are some natural ingrained differences between us. Women are born to, are nurturing creatures. They do give birth to children, even though I haven't had a chance because I missed out on it.
But you are definitely nurturing.
I am Aunt Sandy forever. So, but there is a nurturing nature. And I think that there's something to be said about the woman, preparing the home, having the home, and the man coming home. This is traditional, I know, it's a traditional. Things have changed, but still there are some core things that still go on between men and women, marriages and relationships and families, and so there is that, where the man was always the one going out, taking charge, killing, the animals to put food on the table, dragging the woman back to the cave. No. Anyway, but, and then the woman was always at home preparing the food and preparing and being there for the husband to come home. Now, of course, roles have changed a lot. And we have a lot of roles within us. We have the masculine and the female, feminine. But still, there's something about the energy of women and coming together in big groups. These women got together and decided we are going to go to these other countries. And they did go to these other countries, and they went into the schools.
No, actually, they did a survey.
Okay.
Surveyed what they can help the most,
where they can help the most.
So then, especially Africa, that many countries are war-torn countries, and all the schools are destroyed, and women and children left out. So they asked mothers, what can we help them, because there are so much poverty, right? So they said, in order to get out from poverty, that we need education. They want to give their children education, but because schools are all burned out, that they are down, and so that's why the Women's Federation, started building the school to give education.
Right.
Yeah.
And I've seen the videos, and I'm going to see them again on November 19th.
Yeah.
So November 19th. We want you all to come out to this event. Okay, so mark your calendars. November 19th, it's only a week and a half away. Yeah. It is going to be held at the Old School Brewing Company, which is over at 8410 West Desert Inn. But if you want to make your reservation, call 702-348-5707. That's 702-348-5707. And let us know if you're going to be coming. And then you can purchase your ticket right online at the WIMA Foundation, which is WIMAfoundation.org/donate. Okay, so, but you can also make arrangements to give me a check or pay with a credit card or whatever you want to do. But just give me a call, 702-348-5707. We are having a wonderful contest. You get to dress up and represent any country in the world that you want to represent. And which world are you going to represent? Which country?
I was not thinking of a country. I was just thinking of some country girl or something like that. I don't know. I have to have a country.
There's a lot of country girls from different countries. Well, what about you, Kimio? Have you thought about where you're going? What United Nations?
I wonder what country she's going to represent.
I'm not sure yet.
No, you're not going to represent your own country.
Anyway,
we don't have to represent our own.
Country.
We can represent a different one.
Right?
Yes.
Anything that you like, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And we're going to have some fabulous food, and we are going. We can also get tours of the brewery.
That's right.
Wait, that's a tricky word. Brewery. And they have some wonderful beers to try. They have dark beers and light beers and ales and all kinds of wonderful things. This place is an amazing place. And we talked with Nick, the owner, and Bud. We talked with him the other night. And they're really excited about having this event there. And all the ladies of WIMA are excited to put on this event and to help the Women's Federation for World Peace raise funds for this wonderful project, which is the Schools of Africa project. So where could we find out more about the Women's Federation for
It's a www.us. Also www.org.
That's wfwp.us
and /School of Africa.
// Schools of Africa. Okay, so you can find out more about them there. And also, Mary, did you have something else you wanted to say?
Well, we do have a website. We do have a Facebook.
Facebook page,
right.
yes, that Diane Fox helped to put up. Oh my gosh,
right.
Diane Fox is listening right now. Hi, Diane, how are you?
So
what is that Facebook page?
Isn't it Women's Federation for World
Peace
USA
Las Vegas, right? Okay, great. So you can go to our Facebook page. You can check out all the things that we're doing, and also check out WIMA, Women in Music and Arts, empowering artists of all age through education, mentoring, and scholarships. And that's exactly why we are sponsoring this event too. Let's see. At 5, did you want me to say this?
Yeah.
John handed me a piece of paper, and then. Oh, just a suggestion. All right, forget about it.
Can I just
anyway,
say one thing?
Of course you can.
Because Women's Federation is not just feminist organization, but we want to work together with men.
We have men.
Yeah,
so you have men in the organization.
So because
and we have men in WIMA also.
Yeah,
so because they are the men supporting the women.
That's why we want to welcome the men to come.
Yes.
For this event.
That's right.
To support us.
Well, because we want couples to come and join us.
That's right. That's
exactly.
And also the other thing that the Women's Federation has done for world peace is bringing the women, the couples together, where they what is it?
Rededication.
They rededicate themselves to each other. in a ceremony, which was held out at the
IPEC, International Peace Education Center.
Yes, which is a beautiful building. And we were thinking about holding the event out there, but we were like, oh my gosh, they're not totally set up for the food thing yet. So we're going to be going there soon. But it's this beautiful white building south
it's on
near
Bermuda
the airport.
and Sunset if you
if you want to go by and check it out. And it was built. It was built by the organization, right?
Yeah, donations.
A lot of donations.
All
from
donations.
different parts of the world.
Right, right. So, so we're excited and hope that you will all join us, because WEMA is all about supporting, like I said, artists. But what I noticed about the Schools of Africa, these women are in there. They go over to these countries. They spend time. They spend time helping to educate. They spend time bringing educational materials to the schools. They spend their time and and commitment to this. And they've been doing this since 1995.
Early 1994.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, so Mary, anything else you'd like to say to our listeners out there?
Well, I would love to see them come. I mean, and
of
find
course.
out just by...
How are you going to tempt them to come? I mean, come on. Tell them to come and watch the dancers, right? The African dancers. Tell them to come and have some great food. It's going to be fabulous food. How about the music, Kimio?
Yeah, I think it'll be Rory. I love
Dick
Kastel. So
the Dick Kastel Band, yes. So join us, and ladies, thank you so much for being part of the show today. I'm so excited, and we've got an interview that's coming up with a wonderful performer. She is an artist. I mean, she's a singer and an actor, actor. And also, she started a foundation called Ascend, and her name is Brenda Epperson. And so we're going to take a little brief pause, and then we're going to be back with our interview that we had last week, which was pre-recorded. So, but we want to share it all with everybody. And the ladies and I are going to roll up our sleeves, and we're going to get to work because we've got a lot of gift baskets to go get ready right now.
Right.
So here we are. We'll be right back with Brenda Epperson. Here today with us. Hi, Brenda. How are you?
Hey, Sandy. I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful, and it's so good to hear you. I mean, talking with Tom about all the things that you've done and your new project. I mean, even though you've been doing this for a while, it's a wonderful project, the Ascend program.
Thank you. Yeah, AscendConference.org. Yes, for women, and just encouraging and uplifting women to really become all they can be and know who they are, and just encourage women in general, because it's not an easy world out there.
I know. Well, let's go backwards a little bit in time. Let's talk about how you really got started in your career. What was, who was your inspiration, and how you ended up, because you're an actress, you're a singer, and now this. So let's go back a little bit.
My father died when I was a young girl. He was a country western RCA Victor recording artist. Was born in North Hollywood, California. My mom was left to raise my sister and I after he died. My dad was in movies like Big Jake with John Wayne. He was from Louisville, Kentucky. So I grew up around country music, and as a little girl, I would stand with a brush in front of the mirror at like age 5 and 6 and sing my guts out. And
you did?
I was a singer, listen to Donna Summer and Karen Carpenter and all those wonderful artists, and many, many, many more, and just really wanted to be a singer my whole life. And my father died when we were a little girl, and it kind of really tragically in an accident, and he was on the way to make a film in Mexico, and kind of shattered our whole world, and everything got turned upside down. So we moved from North Hollywood to Oregon. First we had a quick stop in Nevada, in your state, lived there in Winnemucca, Nevada, if you've ever even heard of it.
I've been to Winnemucca. Hey, listen, I was Miss Nevada, in the Miss America pageant, and I went to Winnemucca.
I love it. Nice. Oh, so you've got your crown and the whole thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we've got some similarities, as a matter of fact. I was 4 years old when I decided I wanted to be a singer. And, of course, my father's a musician and plays saxophone. I'm fortunate that he is still with me, and us. He's 86 years old, just turned 86. So you lost your father, and then your mother had to raise you kids. And so your life kind of changed, did a dramatic change at that period of time.
Right. Everything kind of, life as we knew it completely was altered. So we moved to Oregon because her sister, my aunt, moved there at the time. So we said, hey, we'll go with you. We don't have anything else to do. So I grew up in a really small town with my sister and my mom called Dallas, Oregon. It's a town of 6,000 people where we had a parade for our first stoplight. And it was just really a great place to grow up. But I always felt a little misplaced knowing that there was even more out there. And so kind of, grew up on a farm, worked at a farm. We didn't have a farm, but I grew up working on a farm and taking care of animals. And at one point I thought I wanted to be a veterinarian. And then the next point I saw how much blood and guts went into the surgeries and the math in the school and said, forget that.
Yeah.
And really started throwing myself into the arts and singing and art school. We toured a little bit with our jazz vocal group, and I too was Miss Oregon teen.
There you go.
Things, 'cause it's, what else are you gonna do? You didn't have YouTube back then. You got to keep busy, and you couldn't make your own movies. So did that.
That's true.
Entered singing contests and kept really busy. And then when graduated from high school, moved to California and went to school for a short time. And college, we ran out of money, and I thought, well, I really kind of was at a pivotal moment. I thought I could stay in college and get some loans or grants and go into debt and be in debt at 40, 50, 60, 80,000, whatever it would be at the time. Or I could just bag this college thing and move to LA. So that's kind of what I did.
So you went for it. Packed your bags and said, I'm going to LA.
Yeah, I did. I went for it. And I probably about a year and a half after moving to Los Angeles, I worked at MGM, which is now Sony, with MGM Lorimar, because I thought if I'm going to waitress, I'm going to waitress around people that, when they come down,
they're in the
lunch,
industry.
They're the heads of studios, they're the heads of production companies, and booked a few jobs like that. I got a commercial agent, and next thing I knew, there were soap opera stars. I also sang at Lorimar doing their demos, and in the demo division, Steve Stone, who knew my father, his father knew my father, so I would do demos at Lorimar in the music department and sing a few of those. And they had soap opera stars one day modeling at Sony, or Lorimar at the time, and this girl looked, who everybody said, you look just like this girl in Young and the Restless, Ashley, and I would sign autographs because people literally would not believe it wasn't, it wasn't me or it wasn't her, Eileen. And so, long story short, she was modeling clothes that day, and I was working, and my manager said, go backstage. That's the girl who everyone says you look like. So I said, okay, I went backstage, and she told me at that point she wasn't going to renew her contract, and I should, audition. And I was like, okay, sure. I'd never acted a day in my life. I'd, done some commercials where I was like the girl in the outfit, but never really acted. And I thought, if I could sing in front of people, I could act. And, I had a lot to learn. But long story short, I went in and didn't even have an agent for it. And I started making the calls myself. And I auditioned, and I got the part of Ashley on The Young and the Restless.
Oh, my gosh. What a story, huh? So sometimes you just at the right place at the right time.
Really, it should never have happened, and I don't know that it does happen often, but it really was one of those stories, it's like one of those doors that God opens and no man can shut type thing. So I went for it fearlessly and auditioned 3 or 4 times. When I did the screen test, I remember my car broke down. I had just gotten a call saying the job that I was waitressing at, they went out of business, so I no longer had a job. I had to buy a new outfit for screen test at CBS. So I went to Nordstrom's and put it on my credit card, took the tags in knowing I could take it back because I couldn't afford it. I had to be in a business suit. I didn't own a business suit. So I go into the screen test with tags tucked into my outfit and just terrified, but, prepared and, I got it. And there you go. And I even took classes while I was on The Young and the Restless because they're like, you really need to learn how to act a little more. So I literally was in acting classes while I was on the show.
Well, if it's meant to be, and the key thing here, and the key thing that if you're talking to an audience about this, how do you go out and do what it is that you love to do, or go for your passion, or make a stand? You actually have to make the commitment. And I've heard this from other people that are writers, publishers, performers, that they say, look, you got to go there. You have to go where they're doing what it is. And you went to Hollywood. And so if you want to be in theater, go to New York, right? If you want to be in movies, so you made a commitment, you went there, and you did it, and you immersed yourself in that community, and you kept yourself around everything that was happening. So even though when you did your waitress, like you said, you were planning on being a waitress just to be around it, but because you got yourself right in it, you had the opportunity to walk into that door.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it's really important. I always tell people, one of the things that I did is every single day I did something toward my career, whether it was make a phone call to a casting director, now it's email, but, send out pictures and resume, connect with somebody. Like every day I did something, at least one thing, no matter what, toward my career. Knocked on the door, got in a class, whatever it was, so that I was constantly in motion toward where I wanted to go, which I think is incredibly important too. And then, you got to have the talent to back it up too, and being in the right place at the right time. You're right.
But the thing about it is also you can develop your skills better. You jumped in there feet first. But like you said, you took the classes to hone your skill and your craft because you realized if I want to be in this business, I better learn what I'm doing and really so that because you're opposite all of these other actors, you want to make sure that you're honing your craft as you go as you go along, as you move along.
100%.
Yeah. So now you did TV, you did that show, and then the music. So the music came back, right? You started out saying, I want to be a singer.
The music never left, and that's what was so interesting. So I became known as an actress because prior to that I was simply, a stage singer. I sang at, pageants and at church. I grew up singing in church. Anywhere I could sing, I would sing. Somebody say, sing a song. I'd sing a song. Anywhere I could sing, I would sing because I just loved it.
Right.
So then I really had to lay down my singing for, a long time because I needed to know how to act. And, I still don't know everything I need to know, but
we're always growing.
Learned just as I was going along. But I don't think you ever really know everything you need to know in a craft, but you're constantly learning. But I thought, okay, I better just really immerse myself in acting because it was not something that I'd ever really pursued. It was really my singing that was my passion. So I really, like you said, honed into my craft and was on the show and, for whatever reason, that character never got to sing on the show. And I was really kind of frustrated with it, but I was like, okay. And so I had an opportunity. I signed, I was almost 8 years on the show. And I had an opportunity because I really missed my music. I was doing some movies. I did a movie with Ted McGinley and Leah Remini that was on Lifetime called Follow Your Heart. So I started doing movies, and I really immersed myself into some movies because I wanted to see what that was like. And I didn't really like it very much, quite frankly. It is a lot of work. I did not enjoy filmmaking at all. I mean, working on films. It's not a passion of mine.
Well, doing daytime is a lot different. You're right. When you do a film, you are immersed in that for up to, months at a time sometimes.
Well, even nighttime TV, like I was on The Nanny, it's just much easier. I mean, film is a lot of work. You are just, wow. I just didn't. Anyway, so I did it to see if I liked it, and it wasn't my bag. But I did some really great movies. With Leah Remini, Ted McGinley, Jack Scalia. I worked with Randy Quaid, all these different people, and some really fun. Katherine Heigl, and some really fun movies. So I would do soundtracks. I put a couple songs on the soundtracks. I did a soundtrack with. He was on it, Jose Feliciano. I was on a soundtrack with Anita Pointer. From the Pointer Sisters, I was on the soundtrack with the Winans, not Cece, but her sister and brother. And it was really great. And I really was missing being in the studio. So I got this opportunity to sign with Sony TriStar Music. And I was still on the Young and Restless. And they said, well, my promoter was out of London. They said, we want you to fly to London to record and possibly tour in Europe, because it was Sony TriStar LTC, which was out of Europe. So it was Sony in Europe, not in the States. So I approached Young and the Restless as my contract was coming up, saying, look, I need a little time off here and there. What can you give me? And I'll work around it, because I'm going to be, recording in London, and, I'm really pursuing my music career, thinking, oh, it's going to be great, because, when somebody does something else, too, it only promotes the show.
Right.
Well, they were not going to have it, and they said, we're not letting you out. And I was like, what do you mean? They're like, nope, you can't record, you can't tour, blah, blah.
In other words, you were locked into...
at that point, I had to make a decision. And
just be there.
It wasn't a hard one, quite frankly, because I had given that much of my time in my life.
Right.
And it was great. But, quite frankly, when you do something that long, it can tend to get stale. You look at a lot of nighttime stars and celebrities, after 7, 8, 9 years, they leave, because it's really run its course. And it's not that it's bad if somebody stays and they're in a character for 20, 30 years, God bless.
Yeah.
But it just, I don't know. I didn't know where else I could take that character. And I just never wanted, bottom line, I never, ever, Sandy, wanted to look back in my life and say, what if?
That's
and
right.
I knew at this point, this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to sign with Sony TriStar. You're picking between Sony and CBS. And I thought, you know what? I may never get this opportunity again to sign with Sony TriStar.
Oh, my gosh. That was huge.
I'm going for it. This is my dream. This is my whole life. I'm a singer. Like, what? I'm going for it. And, I said, I'm gone. I'm leaving. And they came back and said, no, please stay. And I said, no, I'm leaving. No.
You had your chance.
Going to make me stay. I choose my music. So I did. I made a choice. And I signed with Sony TriStar. I toured around Europe. I opened for Lionel Richie.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
I mean, he and I was his opening act for half of his European tour on his Time tour. That was the name of his song, of his album. Right. Sheila E. We were in Bercy in Paris, which is 20,000 seats. We were in places that Elton John had just been in, and Tina Turner. It was the experience of a lifetime. I will never, ever, ever forget that time.
Now, how long did you do that particular?
A couple years. By the time I recorded and then toured and did all that, I was with Cloutier, and they would do my hair. I would be, limoed around Paris and do photo shoots in the Gucci stores or Christian Dior. They'd shut the whole store down for me, and it was just nuts. It was so much fun, and I'm so glad I did it. But then, when we finished the tour, Lionel got dumped from his label. Literally, when we were finishing up the tour, I got dumped from my label. It was like, what? It was right around the time where, music was really changing electronically, and
what year was that? What year was that, Brenda, when that happened?
Late 90s. It was
late
98, 99.
Okay, so that's when that's when a lot of the online, started.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. And I was devastated. I was hysterically crying when Sony let me go. And then I didn't feel so bad, because I was like, wait, this is Lionel Richie, and they dumped Lionel Richie? What?
Well, yeah, they wanted to change.
And then I was like, okay, now I don't feel so bad. Not that I'm Lionel Richie, but you know what I mean? I thought, okay, it's just sometimes, whatever. It's when, somebody is let go or they leave their position, a new regime comes in and they just get rid of everybody, most of the artists, and that's what happened to me. And it was just a great experience. So then I went through some transitions in my life and moved back to actually for several years. Lived in Summerlin there.
Really?
And
you were my neighbor.
My daughter went to school. Yeah, my daughter went to school there for a couple years, and then moved back to Los Angeles and just started back into my music. And one of the things that, you know, after leaving Young and the Restless, I remembered I was just, and then, you know, with the whole Sony experience, I wasn't, you know, I was a new artist, and I have a lot to learn, and I had a lot to learn, and I still do. But I just remember I was so tired of everybody telling me what to do, you know. Like, for 10, 15 years of my career, I was, you know, basically bought by CBS and very appreciative of it. But, you know, they told you what to wear. They told you where to go. They told you how to act. They told you, you know, and that's great. And I get it because you're representing a character that they created, and that's great. Mm-hmm. But then when I was signed with Sony, I was told what songs to sing. I was told how to sing it. Everybody in the studio would tell me, well, what about this? No, you don't know. Well, I'd like to write a song. No, you're not a songwriter. We'll do it. Just sing this. And I just was so frustrated. It was like 10 or 15 years, 10 to 13 years of this. I remember I was just like, I just took time off because I had personal things going on, but also I thought, I just want to regroup and really find out who I am as, you know, an artist.
Right.
And what that means, because everybody always told me, oh, you're not a writer. Oh, you're not a writer. You're not this. And I thought, wait a minute.
I am. Listen to me. I am.
Right. And so I started kind of taking this journey on just seeing who I was. And then I realized, and then with YouTube and iTunes and all this, that I didn't need these people to tell me who I am and what I have and put that label or that identification on me, that I could then put out my own music and find myself as a writer. And this new song, I Cry Freedom, which I wrote, came up with the music for, is the first piece of music that I have done, literally all of it. Now, I worked with a producer, Matt Bang, who is fantastic, who's worked with Timberland. So he definitely was creative with the music portion of it. But, you know, I handed him and said, here, this is it. Mm-hmm. And he then embellished on it. That was the first time. And I have to tell you, it was such a sense of accomplishment and like, wow. Mm-hmm. You know, whether 2 people listen to it or 200, it really is like, I didn't know I could do this, but yet I knew it was in me. But it just goes with life, with anything, and even with the Ascend Conference, we as people as a whole, and I think women, we give up so much of our power and allow people to tell us who we are and who we aren't. And you can't do this because, you know, you're a woman, or you can't do this. You know, another thing is age. You're too old, so you're never going to do this. Well, that's not true. That's a lie, you know. I mean, you look at people all through history who Albert Einstein, I think, he discovered electricity, and later in his life, way above 50. Sure. And all these people that just do great things, and our society throws people away and discards them. And really, there's such beauty inside of all of us if we just believe, you know, and really dig in and take the time to search who we are and what we're good at. And there's beauty in everybody.
You know, Brenda, it's so funny that you mentioned this about, I can't believe you even said this, but I'm going to send you a song, okay? I'm going to send you a song that I wrote, okay? And you're going to get a kick out of it because it says, don't tell me I can't, don't tell me I won't, don't tell me I never will, because you'll be sorry when I'm gone. So anyway, it's funny. I was just back in Washington, and I sang it at the Women's Federation for World Peace. And I had people coming up to me afterwards. And the thing is women especially can relate to the song, but I've even had men come up and tell me that is such, it's right to the point. And you just said the same thing. You have gone along a wonderful path here, and you started out singing. You went in, you made a change, you had a change in your life, but you took yourself to a new location. You got into acting. You delved into this and committed to it. And like you said, that was 7 or 8 years of your life committed to what you were doing, and you continued to study, continued to improve upon what you were doing, but then you still continued wanting to pursue your singing, and then you took the steps and every door opened. You said something about, remember you said something about the place that you were going to, and what was it, the place that you were going to work, and then the job wasn't there. It's like synchronicity. Sometimes things happen. And I really think the other thing that you mentioned is about if you were to go off and do the singing, that would bring something back to your character, in the role you were playing. However, that is not what the vision that they had, and they had to have you committed to doing just what they wanted you to do. And I can understand that because they had a plan for that character. However, what you're saying is that no matter what I've done, it all enriches me as a human being, and it gives me more things to bring into whatever it is that I'm doing. And this Ascend, I know, sounds like it's a culmination of everything that you've gone through in your life and your growth, and now you're sharing that with everybody, and with this conference and getting this out. I want to find out, I know our time is running short. I can't believe how quickly this goes, but
I know. Well, it's ascendconference.org, ASCEND conference.org. Okay. And 3 years ago, literally, God tapped me on the shoulder, and it's like, I want you to do women's conference. I heard it clear as day. It's the truth. And long story short, I called a friend of mine who I've known for a long time. And I said, I know this sounds crazy, but I feel like I'm supposed to start a women's conference. And before I could finish, I said, would you want? And she's like, yes. I go, what? She goes, I've wanted to do a women's conference. And she goes, when? And I go, I don't know. She goes, where? I go, I don't know. She goes, how? I go, I don't know. And we're like, let's do it. And it was just so crazy. And that is how this conference started. And it's Ascend Conference. We do it once a year. Okay. The first year we had Nancy Alcorn, the speaker from Mercy Ministries, who has homes all over the world that helps young women who are abused, abandoned, trafficked, or self-harming, bulimic, whatever it may be. And her recoup and recovery rate is in the 90 percentile. It's one of the highest recovery rates of any program of its kind.
Wow.
And she spoke and encouraged the women, and we had women come forward and lives transformed. And the second year, we had Congresswoman Michelle Bachmann speak. Our theme was about freedom the second year. And and then Ishaq Abla, who was a former Muslim jihad, who really wanted to just kill everybody, Christians and Jewish people, because she was a Muslim jihad, who gave her life to Christ. She said, Jesus came to her in a dream, and she almost was beaten because she said, oh, Mommy, I'm not scared anymore because Jesus came to me. And they're like, where did you hear that name, Yeah. And this woman spoke, and women were just sobbing and telling of her story and the things that she's been through. And this year we had CeCe Winans came and spoke and sang, and Lisa Osteen Gomez, who is Joel Osteen's sister, came and just tore the house down. It was just absolutely beautiful. It was just a time of women coming together once a year to be uplifted and learn more about who they are and their walk in this world and who they are in strength in Christ. And it is a biblically based conference, and it has just transformed women's lives. I mean, the notes and the emails we get from women that have come have just been incredible. Incredible.
Okay, so we want to send everybody to Ascend, and it's ascend.org? Or is it
Conference.org.
Okay, and then what time of the year is that?
We do it in the fall. It's usually October.
All right.
It'll be October 2016.
Okay. And then to find, of course, anything about Brenda Epperson, you can go right to her website, which is brendaepperson.com. And we are going to be sharing...
My new song, the single, brendaepperson.com/music.
Oh, okay.
Will take you right to the new song, I Cry Freedom.
Okay.
And there's a 75-cent download there for anybody who wants to download the song.
Okay.
It's kind of a rock country feel. I kind of got back into my country roots a little bit.
Yeah.
Dad.
Okay.
And it's kind of a rock country feel. It's real departure from my usual sound, so I'm really proud of it. It's been doing great on radio across the country, and I hope everybody listens and enjoys it, and just it encourages them.
Well, thank you so much, Brenda, for calling in and being on the show. It's so good to hear all about your story, and I'm looking forward. We're going to share a little bit of your clips and stuff, and with our audience, and we'll have to tune back in another 6 months or so and see where you're headed then. How's that?
Can't wait! Can't wait! Thank you so much, Sandy, and
thank
have a great
you,
day, everyone. Take
all
care.
right. Thanks a lot, Brenda.
Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Brenda Epperson, for being on the show. And now we're going to listen to her new single, I Cry Freedom.
It just doesn't make any sense. I just don't understand how this world can be so heavy and hard, leave you alone with nowhere to stand. I'm feeling lost and confused, and time again I felt like I'd lose. But you reach out to this broken heart. Your spirit's stronger than the hurt of the dark. The spirit of the sovereign Lord is on me. He sent me to bind up the broken hearted. The spirit of the sovereign Lord is on me, to release from darkness the prisoners, to proclaim freedom for the captive. I'm no longer a prisoner. I cry freedom. I cry freedom. No longer in fear, I have ears to hear. I cry freedom. I cry freedom. Holy Spirit, give us strength to know who we are in you. And like a wave that washes over the sea, Holy Spirit, speak to me. As you reach out, I hear your voice. No longer I who live, I've made my choice. Holy Spirit, cover me so I can be completely free. The spirit of the sovereign Lord is on me. He sent me to bind up the broken hearted. The spirit of the sovereign Lord is on me, to release from darkness the prisoners, to proclaim freedom for the captive. 'Cause I'm no longer a prisoner. I cry freedom. I cry freedom. No longer in fear, I have ears to hear. I cry freedom. I cry freedom. You cry freedom. We cry freedom. I cry freedom. You cry freedom. We cry freedom. I cry freedom. You cry freedom. We cry freedom. The spirit of the sovereign Lord is on